Social media has a serious problem. YouTube has a serious problem. This transformation of trolling from a means to an end in political discourse, meaning you'll notice that before Kekistan came into existence, the skeptics didn't have an identity per se, and this metastasis, of 4chan culture, pure trolling as politics. It really came to a head last week when the skeptic feminist murder scandal landed in our communities on Twitter and YouTube. It really ended up being a litmus test for how far you were going to follow Sargon down this path of trolling as a virtue, as a pure virtue, meaning trolling is not to be challenged. Trolling is not to be questioned. There is no wrong time to troll. There is no issue that is too delicate, too sensitive, too fresh to meme. It was an empathy test. In more than one way. It was an empathy test for the skeptic community by the feminist community to see if they still saw us as people deserving of compassion in a time where something terrible happened in our group. And some people still had enough compassion in their hearts to do something constructive instead of point and laugh and mock the feelings of people who were genuinely bereaved. I know that a couple of YouTubers took the opportunity to do streams to raise awareness for vets who suffer from post-traumatic stress disorder. And I think that was admirable. To do something constructive in a grieving community. Because as much as the shitlords don't want to acknowledge it, we are all YouTubers. We are all political YouTubers. And in the macro sense, we're all part of the same community. And this was a test. This was a test for whether or not the cancer of Sargonism had consumed the humanity of the skeptic community. And it was exemplified by a stream held by a YouTuber called V, who I had never heard of before, where when the news of the skeptic feminist murder scandal came in, the worst of the worst in terms of human behavior. I think Kraut has actually apologized for his callousness in during that stream, making jokes about, it's fucked to make jokes about the accused murderer or the victim. It's just a bad time to make that with a community that you're already adversarial with, that you're already regularly abusive of. When a real world tragedy befalls us and we're trying to cope with that, to have to additionally have the piss taken out of us in a vulnerable position, to have to mommy you, to have to step in and tell you the basics of being a compassionate adult is a heavy lift when you're trying to organize in your community the process of grieving people that many of us were either casually acquainted with to as close as you can get to being friends with someone you've never met online. And like I said, there were a few people who really, I think, I liked SkepTour's video on the subject. I think that Politipod, Sam from Politipod and Jeff Holiday doing streams to raise awareness about PTSD, I think that was good stuff. I think that really sort of were marks of good character. That they knew when trolling stops, when it's time to sort of step back and be sincere. I don't think that the deepest fold of that Sargon circle knows where the line is or cares. It seems like they knew where the line is and they deliberately jumped over it and have continuously jumped over it since the events and the criticism laid upon them for mocking the events around the death of Heather Annabelle. Which leads me to the solution. Our problem here is that the Dark Tetrad has become not only a social norm on the internet in certain communities, because there has been good work done by Twitter in the last. And you'll notice that Sargon's criticism of Twitter started once there was a purging of trolls. and there were new harassment policies put in. That's when he started to add that Jack sucks to his Twitter profile and started to push everybody to minds.com. See, every social media platform starts as sort of a Wild West environment for trolls. They can go there and talk about, make Auschwitz jokes and misogynist, sexist, racist comments, and the sites will overlook it because the trolls, the channers, spend their lives online. And if you want your platform to be active, you open it up to the people who literally have lived their entire existence on the internet. It is very easy to abandon empathy when you don't have contact with other humans. And so, channers construct an environment completely bereft of empathy. It's pure cynicism. It's moral nihilism. Empowered by this distance from humanity at large. These are angry, alienated, disaffected, broken people. The reason they love Sargon is because he teaches them that they can, that he's leading a revolution for them to turn the world into 4chan. His militant support of Trump was not coincidental, it was philosophical. He wants Trump to be the most powerful man in the world. He wants internet trolls to get revenge on normies. He wants, we laugh about Sargon, but he is a philosophical leader of a dangerous cultural standard that is premised on sadism. And I don't know who Sargon of Akkad is in his personal life. He might be a perfectly functional human being. You know what I'm saying? Like, he might be good to his kids. He might be good to his wife. He might just be like a run-of-the-mill dude. But he and his inner circle, I forgot how to count there for a second. Uzulu, Kraut, they are waging a culture war, and it's like nothing I've seen in the modern age. That culture war isn't against SJWs, or rather, they have expanded the definition of SJWs to be so broad that when you take their politics out into the real world, it is everyone is an SJW. Empathy, compassion, anyone with these basic human traits becomes an enemy of the Kekistani state. They conduct themselves like psychopaths. They create an environment that empowers psychopathic behavior, antisocial personalities. So the time for laughing about Channer's and Sargon's philosophy. And Sargon as a philosophical leader, I think that reaction of lulls first, even in the deepest of darkest tragedies, ponage first, ponage before compassion, makes Kekistan a real-world threat. Which sounds absurd, but we are living in an age of politics where a cult built around a stupid cartoon frog is a threat to human existence, period, full stop. If the Trump administration is the house that Pepe built, and Donald Trump is the most powerful man in the world, then Kekistan is a threat to, it is an existential threat to humanity in the real world. And I know there's going to be a bunch of cringy responses to this. But grown-ups will understand how jumping the rails on the Kekistan meme and forcing it, as Sargon does, because it's so important to him. It's so important to him that his memes troll reality itself, troll politics. It's an anti-politics. It's a means by which to destroy politics. It is a form of reactionary cynicism. So it's time to propose a final solution for the people of Kekistan. I'm going to propose my own peaceful ethnic cleansing platform for the people of Kekistan. On YouTube, we are currently powerless because YouTube is monetizing this culture. And even if it's not monetizing the culture, it's using it to attract eyeballs to the platform. But Twitter has a means to conquer and cleanse the Kekistani people. And it involves the harassment policy and the reporting policy. Now you don't have to do what I say here. You can mute Keks. You can block them. But I would suggest reporting them. And I don't mean false flagging, meaning just finding Kekistan profiles and reporting them for no reason. But if a troll comes into your space and you feel that they violated the rights that you are accorded within the Twitter terms of service, the only way to remove these people from the environment and actually transform the political discourse, particularly in time for the next election, because that's what's most important, is we cannot have another campaign of Keks cynically manipulating the political narrative. during the next presidential election in the United States. So I give you permission to execute the final solution on the Kekistani people. They've earned it.